Right, that'll do. That's enough of that. Enough showing off. I'll come back to the points of that in a minute. I've got some notes here that I'm going to read because otherwise I'll get distracted. And I'm going to talk about distractions in a minute. Okay, my name's Chris. I'll be 64 years old in a couple of months. I've done a couple of YouTube videos already, sort of beginnery things. And if you're one of the 20 people who've seen them, you'll see that I started out sort of doing this, yeah, strumming with my thumb. Well, as you've seen, hopefully, I've moved on from there, and I can do it with the pick, and I want to come back to that. All right, what's the point? The point is, um, I want to share with you the 10 steps I took from just picking up a guitar to any progress that I have made, um, and then 5 sort of tips for you. So let's get straight into it. I always wanted to play the guitar. I was born in 1960, so the Beatles, the Shadows, all the rest of it, guitars were everywhere. Guitars were everywhere, and I liked them. I liked the sound of it, and all the rest. So I thought, yeah, I'll do that. I really will do that. So I went through my childhood and never learnt the guitar. I tried the violin when I was about 12, 13. Um, yeah, that just didn't work out. So then, as a young man, when I've started work and had a good job and I was paid well and everything, I had my own house when I was 22, I still didn't. I still didn't. When I got married and I had a family and pressure of work and everything and the family, I worked long hours. And then I retired. And basically, I ran out of excuses. And then lockdown came, and then I definitely ran out of excuses. So I picked up the guitar that I'd been given for my 34th birthday. Excuse me. And thought, well, I better do something with this. So what I did, um, yeah, YouTube, of course, and I basically I typed in absolute beginners guitar lessons. There are a few different channels. I could tell you the one that I sort of homed in on, but you'll find your own. But if you just Google or just enter absolute beginners guitar lessons, I found the one for me, and it's excellent. If I benefited from it, then really anybody can. Okay, so I followed this particular channel, and he started talking about just learning some chords. So, what even is a chord? So anyway, I learned. And the next thing I did was, having watched that, I went out and I borrowed a tuner from someone. So that's the first 2 steps. Having then practiced, having learnt some chords and practiced chord shapes and practiced moving from chord to chord, still very slowly, still very clumsily, still not as great as I might have liked, but nevertheless we all got to start somewhere. I then um, looked at some tunes from my own CD and record collection, and just a few tunes that I'd like, and I thought I'd like to be able to play along with that. And so I looked for lessons for particular tunes. And while I was doing that, I bought a tuner. While I was buying a tuner, I bought a capo and I bought some different picks, thumb picks and ordinary conventional picks. And I just followed these lessons and learned some new chords. Um, just a few minutes a day, 5, 10 minutes a day, because you know I kept doing that. And then when lockdown eased, I mentioned it to my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law and I are good mates. We get on really well. We're friends as well. We'd be friends if we weren't brothers-in-law. He's an experienced player. He started learning as a teenager and before, and I've actually enjoyed learning with him and from him, and we enjoy playing together now. Hopefully, we both have become better players for it. I'm lucky. I'm in one of the spare rooms in the house. I've got a spare bedroom, and this is it. My kids have moved out, got families of their own now. So I'm able to, I'll put this down now, I'm able to keep my guitar out. There we go. Excuse my back. There we go again. I'm able to keep it out so that if I come upstairs at any time and do whatever I've got to do upstairs, be it a job or the bathroom or whatever. Right, well, when I've finished, I'll go and just go and knock a few chords out, or see if I can't knock a tune out, just have a practice, and continue to practice and learn. So just by doing that, the guitar's already out. I don't have to faff around with the case and all this kind of thing. Notice at the back there, got an electric guitar, and I'll come back to that. I'll keep that out as well because this is a safe environment. It's be dead. So if you watch the first two videos that I did, that's better. If you watch the first two videos that I did, I explained that I couldn't strum. I had to use my thumb to strum because the pick would just fly into the air or fall into the sound box. So I got the electric guitar. My wife actually bought me that one for my 60th and the electric one for my 63rd birthdays. And so I started to play around with the electric guitar. And guess what? I YouTubed some lessons, absolute beginners electric guitar lessons. Brilliant. And I found that it's no use trying to strum with your thumb with an electric guitar. So I just got used to doing it with the terribly sorry about this, with the pick. There's no editing here. You see what you get. And then I thought, right, do you know what? I fancy doing this particular A, B, or C tune on the acoustic guitar. So I put the electric one down, and I just picked up the acoustic, and without thinking about it, I just played it with the with the pick. And then I stopped halfway through, and I thought, hang on, I'm not supposed to be able to do this. So there was no magic formula about it. Or perhaps there is. Perhaps the magic formula is just stop overthinking things. Um, Something us men tend to do. So there I was strumming away two tunes with a pick. So then I started to try to learn music, learn to read music. I hear a lot of musicians say, "Oh, I don't read music. I can't read music," or and all this. And I think that's all right. That's well and good. But if it wasn't for people who do read and write music and who could read and write music, we wouldn't have any music to listen to. So I felt out of just respect, I ought to. And so I learned simple things like getting chord charts, getting songs that I like, and looking at the chord, you know, kind of go back to YouTubing or whatever, um, songs and the chords. And then I learned about what tabs were, tablature, and things like that. So I started to practice that a little bit. And I started to learn about what I call real music. Notes on the stave and all the rest of it, the five lines and all that kind of thing. Because I just felt I ought to. It's I can only get better doing that. Then I I've got quite a few CDs and records. As I say, at my age, I've got LPs and things for younger people. Ask your grandparents what they are. And I thought, right, I'd like to play along with some of these. I've got the chords. I've actually got the CD here. I've got the LP. I'll play along with them. And what I learned from that was actually, yeah, it's all very well just playing consecutive chords or consecutive notes. But if you can do it in time with the tune, it's a big help. So I learned to do that, just learn to slow things down because when you start, oh yeah, let's get to this, let's get to that. And you just got to learn how the song goes and trust the beat, trust the rhythm, and you will arrive there in time with the song. It takes time. It's not going to be easy, but it's worth doing, and it becomes easier as you go along. Um, so yeah, so basically, I continue to practice and learn. So that's my journey. That's how I've got to sort of where I am. Um, I'd just like to share with you some tips. Uh, and this is where I talk about distraction. This is why I have my notes, because otherwise I might get distracted and might digress offwards. You've heard me talk about YouTube and Google and the internet and all the rest of it. I go back to learning chords and tablatures and tabs and things. Use the internet only to the extent you need to learn and start playing. Learn as soon as you can. Find the chord charts. They're out there. Find the chord charts, or find, you'll see X, Y, or Z tune with chords. Find that. Write it out. Copy and paste. Print it out. Whatever you do, write it out for your own use only, and put your laptop away, put your computer away, because you'll look at your computer. If you're anything like me, you'll say, "All right, I want to look up Mary had a little lamb." I don't know, whatever you want to look up, and you'll think, "Oh, while I'm here, what's that news story? Oh, what's that? What's this?" And before you know it, half an hour's gone past, and you haven't played a thing. So avoid that. If you're an older beginner like me, if you're an older player like me, um, get yourself a cup of coffee or tea or some sort of hot drink just before you start, and just wrap your fingers around the cup. Just warm your fingers up. Particularly, this is February. Particularly now, wrap your fingers around the cup as often as you can and get them warmed up. You might want to do this and this and that, but you might hurt your fingers doing that. But get your fingers warmed up, and then before you start your sort of practice proper, whatever it is you're going to do. And there's no right and wrong. You must do this. You must do that. Do what you want to do. Um, just get your guitar out first and just run through some chords. You just remind your muscle memory of where your fingers are to go, and then set about your practice. Whether you're doing a few minutes, like you've just been to do something in one of your rooms, or something's needed doing, and you've finished doing that, you think, I'll just have 10 minutes on the guitar. If your guitar has a strap, use it, because accidents can happen in the briefest amount of time. So the most serious accidents of my experience of being that I've either observed or whatever have happened in seconds. Okay? Get a strap, use the strap, and keep a good hold of your guitar. Remember, you're never too old to learn. That's very important. You're never too old to learn. But remember this, no one will ever be too old to teach you. And that's true in life as it is with any musical instrument. There'll be somebody who you think, I've got grandchildren older than you, I've got children. So what? So what? They know more than you. So acknowledge that people know more than you and learn from them. Okay? Why then didn't I learn the guitar when I was young? When I was a kid, I'd had paper around. I've always had money. I've always never been rich, but I've always had income. I've always worked, with odd jobs as from being 8 years old and everything. So I've always had money of my own. Until I had kids, that is, of course, as everybody will know. And I didn't. And then as a teenager, I had paper rounds. I was shelf stacking at supermarkets and all that. Then I started my career properly, and I had money. Not lashings of it. You understand? I wasn't rich, but I did have some. I had savings again until I had kids. But I didn't. I just didn't get round to it. I didn't get round to picking up the guitar, which is something I told myself I always wanted to do. So what stopped me? And I'm going to venture to suggest that what stopped me is what stops you. I stopped me. And I'll be respectful and suggest that in lots of things that you've never got round to, it was you that stopped you. You got in your own way. You did it to yourself. You made excuses. You thought, oh, tomorrow, or next week, or whatever, because I certainly did. Life is short. So if you've got something you want to do that is tasteful, decent, legal, honest, and harmless, get on with it. You never know what's around the corner. Get on with it. This long COVID isn't half long. Anyway, best wishes to you and yours. Thanks for taking the time to watch this, and we'll see you soon. Bye now.